All right, welcome to the Franchise Sports Talk College Football Vlog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall, here to continue my previews for this year's college football season. Today, we need to talk about the Big Ten Conference. Now, this is heading to the second year where we will see a Big Ten championship game. Last year's championship matchup between Wisconsin and Michigan State University, that was a great matchup, and I think Wisconsin has a chance of repeating as this year's champions. Now, for the last season, we had a lot of key players who did well last year, but they will not be available for the teams this year because they ended up going to the National Football League. So a lot of players can step up this year and have spectacular seasons. But the biggest news of this Big Ten Conference is Penn State University. They're actually going to be suspended for the next 4 postseason seasons because of the alleged situation with Jerry Sandusky and the whole tragedy of Joe Paterno's and his legacy at Penn State. He ended up getting vacated 111 wins. But I'll talk about that later in a different video. But that was just a big upset for Penn State University, and a lot of their players, including Silas Redd, is looking to transfer to different schools. For Silas Redd, USC is one of the top teams who is definitely trying to pick up Silas Redd to transfer for the Trojans. And this is going to be a tough break for Coach Bill O'Brien. He's going to end up coming into his first season, not be able to play for Big Ten Championship nor a bowl game, and that's going to be a tough situation. But this is his chance to rebuild Penn State and end up ruining a couple of teams for this season, this upcoming year, and as well as the next 3 seasons after that. Now, I have a couple of impact players we need to talk about. Starting with quarterback Denard Robinson out of Michigan. He's going to be a key factor for the Michigan offense this year, and he's definitely going to be a key player to watch for this year's Offensive Player of the Year award. This kid had 20 touchdown passes last year, but has 15 interceptions. The reason behind that is his bad mechanics. He just needs to get his throwing mechanics a little bit better. He throws a lot from the back of his foot and on the run and unbalanced. He just needs to work on his poise and protecting the football within the pocket, meaning he needs to make better decisions in his passings. Sometimes he passes in double coverage, and that's why he had so many interceptions. We already know that he's going to run the ball well. He had over 1,100 yards rushing last season, 5.3 yards per carry. This kid is a great dual threat quarterback. He just needs to build more confidence in passing the football and being a better pocket passer and making better decisions, protecting the football where he throws the ball to. But I think he's going to do well this upcoming year. Another quarterback I need to talk about who is a good big impact, Iowa's James Vandenberg. He had a great rating last season. He had the 138.4 passing efficiency, not bad, but he had 25 touchdowns to go along with just 7 interceptions, and he's going to be leading an Iowa team who lost key players, and Marvin McNutt, who had to leave for the NFL, and even star running back Marcus Coker, who had to transfer for off the field issues, ended up getting kicked out of the team, so he had to end up transferring to Stony Brook. And this is going to be a tough situation for James Vandenberg, but all eyes is going to be on him, and it's going to be relying on his shoulders to lead his team to a Big Ten championship, hopefully this coming year. Now, at the running back position, we all know about Montee Ball. Ended up breaking the Big Ten record for most touchdowns in a season. He was actually one of the top rushers in the nation last year and was a Doak Walker finalist, and he will be a preseason Doak Walker finalist already this upcoming year, and he actually can win that Big Ten championship because Wisconsin has another impact player, quarterback Danny O'Brien. He transferred from out of Maryland, and he's looking to do the same as Russell Wilson did when he transferred for North Carolina State. Danny O'Brien's a great quarterback, and he is already making an immediate impact for the Wisconsin Badgers and the Big Ten. All eyes is definitely going to be on him and his play on the offensive side. Sticking with the offense for the Badgers, they have a good receiver in Jared Abaritas. He was actually leading the team last year with 933 yards receiving over Nick Toon, and Nick Toon's now with the NFL, so Jared's going to have to step up this year, be that #1 guy. He would definitely be that #1 guy for Danny O'Brien. I think he's going to have a big year in the Big Ten Conference. Going on the defensive side, Danikas Allen, the linebacker out of Michigan State. He had 10 sacks last season. He had a lot of tackles. He reminded me a lot of Greg Jones during his junior year as a Michigan State Spartan, but he ended up slumping in his senior season, and I hope this does not happen to Allen this year. He will be that leader for that defense, and I think he's going to have a big upcoming year. Also, another key player I need to talk about, going to the the running back position. I forgot to mention Rex Burkhead out of Nebraska. He had 1,300 yards rushing last season, and he's going to be that leading back. He's going to be splitting carries a little bit, but I think he's still going to get the bulk of the carries because he had a good season. And Taylor Martinez, he could be a sleeper this year for the Offensive Player of the Year award. He just need to have a big year and just rebuild his confidence what he had his freshman season. Now this is going to be a tough one. This year it's going to be a very competitive year. Now, a couple of players I have for you on the rise. Starting with William Golston out of Michigan State. He had 5 sacks last season. He made a pretty good name for himself last year, but now with Jarrell Worthy out of the picture, Golston's going to have to be that anchor for that defensive line for the Spartans. Also, another player on the rise, linebacker Mike Taylor. He had 142 tackles last season. He's actually more of an impact player. He had 2 interceptions and 2 sacks for the Wisconsin Badgers, and he can make a run for the Defensive Player of the Year, where he's a great linebacker. He's going to be the leader of that defense for the Badgers. Now, I have one incoming freshman that I need to talk about here, and that is wide receiver Michael Thomas. This kid has excellent speed, and he has such grace in his running ability. He runs like a gazelle. I really like his hand skills and his running ability. He will be a great addition for Braxton Miller in that Ohio State offense. Braxton Miller, I forgot to mention him as a newcomer, as a breakthrough athlete. I think he's going to have a big season, rushed for over 700 yards last season as a true freshman, and I think he has such a great uprise in his career as a Buckeye. I think he can be a great quarterback. Just need to work on his passing skills, but we already know he's a dual threat at the quarterback position. He's a great runner. He averaged 4.5 yards per carry, and he actually lead the Ohio State Buckeyes to a nice upset against the Wisconsin Badgers, and I think he can rebound based on last season's performance. I think he could be great. Now, overall, for my awards, my preseason awards, for Offensive Player of the Year award, I'm actually going to go with Denard Robinson out of Michigan. Michigan's had a great season last year with new coach Brady Hoke. Finally beat Ohio State. Denard Robinson started getting his boys just a little bit together and trying to do better in passing. Just needs to make better decisions, and I think he will this year. And I think Michigan can have a great chance of making it to that Big Ten championship. I really think because Denard Robinson is coming back, he could lead this team to a Big Ten title and possibly make it to a Rose Bowl, maybe even a national championship. It all depends on what happens this upcoming season. Defensive Player of the Year award, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to actually go with Mike Taylor out of Wisconsin. Like I said, he has so many tackles. He's going to be all over the field. He's going to be a ball hog, and I really like this kid a lot. He's going to be playing sideline to sideline every play, so I think Mike Taylor is going to lead the Big Ten in tackles again, and I think he can be the Defensive Player of the Year award. I'm going to have to go with him. Now, I have a couple of upcoming games we need to talk about this year. Starting with on September 1st, Michigan's going to be playing in Arlington to face the Alabama Crimson Tide. This could be national championship implications for the Wolverines. If they pull up a good win, a big win against the Crimson Tide and go undefeated, they will definitely have a clear shot of making it to that national championship. September 8th, Penn State's going to be playing against Virginia. This is going to be a pretty good game to watch, especially Penn State coming back, playing a tough team, and Virginia, who made a good run in the ACC conference last season. I really think we're going to see how well Penn State performs. They have their first game against Ohio, but I think their big test is going to start off with Virginia and bouncing back from the tragedy that they had with Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno. September 22nd, Michigan is going to be playing at Notre Dame. That's going to be a key matchup. Notre Dame Fighting Irish are previously ranked pretty high, and they're looking to go undefeated this year and possibly make it to a national championship. Notre Dame is going to be a tough matchup for the Michigan Wolverines. September 29th, Wisconsin is going to be playing at Nebraska. This is going to be a great game. Hopefully that defense is going to step up for Nebraska. They ended up losing Jared Crick and Levante David, both of them headed to the NFL, and they need to find some key replacements on the defense. That's going to be key to that game to get to play against a great Wisconsin offense. October 6th, Nebraska is going to be playing against Ohio State. This is going to be at Ohio State. Braxton Miller has the home field advantage. That's going to be an excellent game to watch. On October 27th, Michigan's going to be playing at Nebraska. Michigan ended up beating Nebraska going towards the end of the season. Nebraska had a chance. If they had beaten Michigan, they probably had a chance of making it to the Big Ten championship to play against Wisconsin. And I think this is going to be a rematch for a revenge match for Nebraska. But anything can happen. I'll let you guys know who win that game when that game comes up. November 17th, Ohio State's going to be playing at Wisconsin. Ohio State ended up beating Wisconsin, upsetting Wisconsin with Russell Wilson, and Wisconsin's looking to get that revenge from last season's loss. And last but not least, one of the biggest rivalries in college football, in fact probably the biggest rivalry, Michigan's going to be playing against Ohio State. Last year, Michigan finally beat Ohio State with Brady Hoke leading the way as their head coach, and he was obviously the Big Ten Coach of the Year. He had a spectacular season. This is going to be another key matchup against Jim Tressel and against Urban Meyer, who's the new head coach for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and Brady Hoke. That's going to be an excellent game to watch. Everybody's going to be watching this game. This is obviously the greatest rivalry in college football history. Now, the Big Ten Championship, as far as the two teams I believe that's going to play, I'm going to have to go between Michigan of the Legends Division, winning that Legends Division, playing against Wisconsin. And overall, I'm going to have to go with Michigan in this one. I really believe in this team. I believe that Denard Robinson is going to be a better pocket passer, better passer overall for the Wolverines, and that's going to be a key X factor in leading the Michigan Wolverines to the Big Ten Championship. So I'm going to have to go with Michigan over Wisconsin. That's going to be an excellent game. Now, my sleeper, this was a hard one. I was either going to go between Iowa and Illinois, but I have to go with Illinois. The reason why I'm not going to go with Iowa is because they have a great quarterback in James Vandenberg and Kirk LaFrance. They always end up fighting hard in every game, especially with that defense. They had a good game against Oklahoma, even though they lost in that bowl matchup in last year's Insight Bowl, but they ended up clawing their way back, fighting a little bit going towards the end of the game, and they never give up. They played all 4 quarters, so I'm not that and that's the reason why I'm not going to actually go with Iowa. I'm going to go with Illinois in this one as my sleeper for the Big Ten Championship, because Nathan Shieldhouse had a down year, 13 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. He needs to get better at this. Also, Illinois always ends up pulling off a good defensive lineman for the past couple of seasons. Last year, Willie Merciless, he actually led the nation with 16 sacks last year, and the year before that, they had a great defensive lineman in Corey Lucier. Both of them are now in the NFL, and I think the player who could be on the rise for that D-line is Michael Buchanan. He had 7.5 sacks last season, and I think he could have a big, monstrous year. And because of that, and Nathan Shieldhouse having a down here, he just need to build that confidence back what he had his freshman season. And I think he could be a good dual-threat quarterback. He has good speed, just need to work on his passing skills a little bit. Just get that swag back, get his confidence back, and I think he could lead that Fighting Illini team to a couple of key victories and possibly sleep their way to the Big Ten Championship. Now, next I'm going to catch you guys is on Saturday to give you my final preview of all the BCS conferences, the Big 12 Conference. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Franchise Sports Talk. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.